some new troubling polling from Monmouth University on the state of American democracy. So for the first time since they've been doing this poll, a majority say that the U.S. system of government is not sound. This isn't a partisan sentiment. Majorities of both Republicans and Democrats feel this way. And look, it's always shocking and disturbing to see polls like this, but also, Saagar, ultimately not surprising.
It's crazy. So this is just from Monmouth. Since Monmouth started asking this question in 2017, between 50 and 55% of the American system of government was sound. Between 45 to 49 said it was unsound. So things were already unsteady. Now, it was first asked in 1980 with a clear majority at that time. 62% felt that it was working. Now, the percentage of people who believed the system of government was not too sound jumped by 10 points in February of 2020. And so at that time, it was just 24%. So you can see that in the last several months, basically in the last year, we have seen a massive explosion of the number of people who say that democracy is not working or that the American system of government itself is not working. And with the majority of Republicans and Democrats in that sentiment, it's not like you can just blame like, oh, Trump stopped the steal. It definitely didn't help. But it's something that undermines it on the right. In many ways, I mean, it undermined it on the left, too, in terms of some of the things that we've seen called for. So, yeah, this is extremely, extremely troubling, especially when you combine it with a general sense in other polls that we've seen, whereas Americans say they do not feel that their democracy is thriving, and it's at the lowest level in a long time.
So another number here that goes along with some of the polling we've covered before, when asked how much they felt the American way of life is under threat, 79% of responders said that they felt it was. 45% said a great deal, almost a majority saying a great deal, and 34% saying it was somewhat under threat. You pair that with the study that we covered before, the poll that we covered before, about how if you ask people what they think the greatest threat to their life and their way of life is, it's not COVID, it's not terrorism or some foreign threat or the climate crisis, it's their fellow citizens. And these things all go together. How can you have a representative democracy when you're terrified of what the crazy people down the street are going to do? And of course, that is all fueled by a, ratings generating system in cable news and throughout mainstream media that profits off of feeding those exact divisions and terrifying people about one another. And that directly contributes to what is a breakdown of democracy happening right now. I mean, when you have that sense, it justifies undemocratic means. That's what Stop the Steal and all the Trump madness was. It was this undemocratic mean of holding on to power. You see this playing out throughout the Republican Party. Chris Hayes actually wrote an interesting piece on this of how a lot of the energy in the Republican Party isn't around, hey, how do we appeal to a majority of voters? It's let's paint the other side as an existential threat and use whatever tricks and maneuvers, anti-democratic tricks and maneuvers that we possibly can to hold on to power even as a minority group. Yeah. And I think that is a lot of the landscape that's being fought on right now.
And post that, they actually handed it to, a rising, I wouldn't say authoritarian left, but people who are comfortable with that and a lot of the centrist wing who want to then use the national security state to criminalize normal American citizens. Yes. So what are you going to do? Like you've said it here before, there's only two results. You either become more democratic or you live in a police state. And what looks more likely? We just found out the other day, it cost $500 million to have that troop deployment down at the Capitol. $500 million. Nobody blinked an eye. There was no Republican senator out there who was talking about spending, and there was no Democratic senator who was like, "Hey, maybe it's not chill to have." It was just like one of the most bipartisan things. And I'm like, $500 million for it tells you everything you need to know about what is accepted, completely. No questions asked by the media, too, who we all live in this city about what the hell is going on. You still can't even go down to Capitol Hill. There's fencing around there. It's probably going to be there for the rest of my life. And I think it's a tragedy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Next week on Rising, we got more great guests, including great friends of the show, Ryan Grimm, Brianna Joy Gray, and also David Sirota.
That's right. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well. And we're going to see you guys next week.
Have a good one, guys.